Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to the NoDQ live recap of Smackdown Live for May 21st, 2019. The 24/7 rule is officially in effect, and we saw several segments about that on this show. We also had plenty of Shane McMahon. As a matter of fact, it was Shane McMahon that kicked off the show. First person you saw, the best in the, I'm not going to do it, best in the world, Shane McMahon. Elias was there. He apologized to Shane for losing at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. He said that he would be in Shane's corner at the Super Showdown pay-per-view, but Shane was like, he doesn't need Elias's help. However, Elias needs Shane's help, and therefore Shane will be in Elias's corner in the main event as Elias takes on Roman Reigns in a rematch from Money in the Bank. Why? I don't know. Roman Reigns beat Elias quickly with one spear, but I guess we need a rematch just cuz. We had the return, the grand return of Big E Langston. Kofi Kingston came out. Xavier said that it's been a long, cold 6 weeks without Big E. They brought out a man who was under a sheet. They lifted up the sheet, but it was not Big E. It was, in fact, a slimmer guy, and they told him to hit the bricks. Then Kofi Kingston introduced the real Big E. Big E came out and they had the big sign in the ring to welcome back Big E. They had packages. They had all this glitz and glamour in the ring. The whole ring was decked out for Big E's grand return. Big E talked about how he wanted to smell Xavier Woods' hair. And then he said he wanted to smell Kofi Kingston's armpit. And then he talked about how he wanted Becky Lynch's mom. Of course, Xavier said Becky's mom is taken, but he's like, I want her. Kofi Kingston then told them to knock it off, basically saying that he's the WWE champion, so he has to be serious now. A little joke, a little reference to the people that complain about Kofi being a comedy WWE champion. Virtue. We had them joking about how Kevin Owens got KO'd by Kofi at the pay-per-view. Then we had Kevin Owens come out. He didn't say anything. He just stood there. And then Sami Zayn came out and started complaining about how Big E got this huge celebration while he did not get anything for his return after being gone for like 8 months. Xavier said, all right, well, maybe we could sing you something. And they sung a song about how they will give him nothing because he sucks. Owens just walked out. He was not happy about this. Sami Zayn started talking with both of the microphones, which was quite amusing. Sami talked about the toxic culture, and as he was ranting, Xavier kept interrupting him with the trombone until Sami just gave up on everything. So that was the first segment to kick off SmackDown, and thank you to everyone in the chat room for watching live, and thank you to all of you watching, whether it's live or on demand. If you enjoyed this video, please tell a friend. And real quick, I wanted to do a plug for the NoDQ.com t-shirt store over at NoDQ.com/shirts. All shirts right now are 20% off. Use the code SPRING. Head over to NoDQ.com/shirts and pick up a shirt to support your favorite NoDQ.com personalities. Moving on here, we had Carmella backstage looking for R-Truth. Drake Maverick was handing these wanted posters with R-Truth's picture on it. R-Truth was found by Carmella wearing a blonde wig. And R-Truth talked about how it's been 24 hours now. He only has 7 more hours to go, and then he'll be good. He'll be the permanent champion. And Carmella had to explain to him that it doesn't work that way. The 24/7 title is 24/7, every day, every week, every month, and he always has to have eyes in the back of his head. Next up, we had Andrade versus Ali, and WWE plugged the upcoming match for Super Showdown, which is Andrade versus the Demon Finn Balor. Why Finn Balor needs to be the Demon for this, I don't know, but I guess it was a request by Saudi Arabia. Who knows? Anyway, Zelina Vega made her presence felt. Andrade worked over Ali's back, which was all taped up from the pay-per-view. Ali got tossed onto the timekeeper's table and barely made the 10 count. He literally got in like the last second. I mean, pretty much the last split second. That might have been the closest call I've ever seen for a 10 count. I mean, it was right up there. But anyways, how do you build up Andrade for Super Showdown? Finn Balor as the Demon never loses. And Andrade doesn't exactly have the best win-loss record. So how do you build up Andrade for the Demon? WWE solution? You have him lose to Ali. Okay. Ali did a small package to pin Andrade. Granted, it was a small package and not his finisher, but still, Andrade needs every little bit of help he can get going against the Demon. You want to make Andrade as strong of a challenger as possible. You don't have him lose. He needs all the momentum he can get. That's the word, momentum. And Andrade does not have the momentum heading into this match against the Demon. So why should I care? Why should I care about this match when Andrade cannot even beat Ali? Now, granted, he'll probably beat him next week because 50-50 booking, but still, have Andrade beat some people. And if you don't want Ali losing, don't book the match. As cool as it is, as good as these guys are together in a match, don't book it right now. Book Andrade versus somebody who you're not doing anything with. Have him beat Rusev or something. I mean, you're not doing anything with Rusev right now, so have Andrade beat some guys that are not high on the totem pole right now and build him up as much as you can for Finn Balor. I wasn't a fan of this. Yes, I know Ali's getting a push, so don't book the match. You have Andrade against the Demon. You got to build up Andrade. I don't know. Backstage, we had another segment with Carmella and R-Truth. I'm starting to get worked up now. Just the whole Andrade Ali thing. My blood's boiling a little bit. It's starting to get like, the temperature's rising. I don't know. There's like this presence in this room right now. I got to calm down a little bit. We had Carmella and R-Truth. Carmella gave R-Truth a bra to help with his disguise. You know, this is all about the comedy. We had a Lars Sullivan promo, just a video package showing all of his beatdowns over the past several weeks. We had Carmella versus Mandy Rose. R-Truth came out to accompany Carmella. Why, I don't know, when he has a target on his back. I guess the idea was that his disguise was supposed to be working for a little bit until the people in the back realized, hey, wait a minute, he has the title out there with him. And you can definitely spot that unpleasant looking title from a mile away. You had Sonya Deville get involved. Carmella made her comeback, and then as she was about to beat Mandy, everybody all of a sudden decided, yeah, that's R-Truth. He's got the belt there. They all ran down. They chased Truth to the back. R-Truth was running with Carmella on his shoulders. I guess he could still run fast even with Carmella on his shoulders. You would think R-Truth would try to get out of there as fast as possible. We had a Bayley promo. She said that she exceeded expectations, but people still doubt her. And she proved them wrong at Money in the Bank. And she will move past the hugs. And she had this message for the rest of the locker room to bring their best. We had another backstage segment with R-Truth and Carmella. They ran into the female locker room. All the women started screaming. even though I think Truth was still in the female costume. I don't know. Drake Maverick was chasing after them, but he was running out of breath. I'm not sure if that was a rib on Drake Maverick not having stamina. I don't know. Or maybe Vince just thought it was funny. Who knows? We had Elias playing guitar outside of the arena waiting for Roman Reigns to arrive. Then we had Big E shown backstage. He was selling his knee. Apparently, he got attacked backstage or re-injured himself or something. Gabe just sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Gabe. He says, you would think that they would have known it was R-Truth when the name was up when they came out to the ring. Well, you know, they're a little slow. I mean, they're the lower card guys, so they're not exactly the sharpest knives in the kitchen. Thank you for the super chat, Gabe, and good point there. But again, we got to check our brains at the door when it comes to this stuff. Hamp Kano with a $4 super chat. Thank you for that. He says $4 for 2 nights of no contract signings. That's $6. Well, thank you very much for that, Josh Mansfield. I appreciate it, and I hope you're enjoying your Virtue merchandise that you got from WrestleMania. Actually, no, that was not Josh Mansfield. That was Hamp Connell. Josh Mansfield left the $2 super chat. So, Hamp, ignore that comment about Virtue shirt unless you want to go pick up one at NoDQ.com/shirts, 20% off using the code SPRING. Like how I fixed that there? Josh Mansfield with a $2 super chat says, Aaron versus Virtue for the 24/7 title, book it Rift. We need to have a NoDQ.com 24/7 title. Maybe we can have a big contest during SummerSlam weekend in Toronto for the 24/7 championship. But then again, maybe somebody else. Maybe the simple man Noah Foster will come in out of nowhere with his Mountain Dew fueled persona, and he'll simply take us all out and leave with the championship. Or maybe Stephen Osborne, the Wizard, will provide some magic and leave Toronto with that 24/7 championship. I think we got to do it. I think we got to have a NoDQ 24/7 invitational, the NoDQ experience for the 24/7 championship during SummerSlam weekend. Who knows? Maybe even Caitlin's mom, Mary, will win the 24/7 championship. Maybe Bill, Caitlin's dad, will win the 24/7 championship. I think we got to do it. I think we got to have a 24/7 championship now. The NoDQ experience. The 24/7 experience. So we had Kofi Kingston versus Sami Zayn. Xavier left with Big E to go to the local medical facility. We had Kofi Kingston defeat Sami Zayn with the Trouble in Paradise. And then we had Paul Heyman show up with the Money in the Bank briefcase. And those gullible fans, they thought Brock Lesnar might show up on SmackDown. Bless their little hearts. Heck Schrader on the Shitter, my favorite username of all time. He says, missed SmackDown Live. I was cataloging my rocks. Oh, excuse me, minerals. Jesus. I meant to say minerals. I apologize for that. We had Paul Heyman with the briefcase, and then Dolph Ziggler showed up. That's right. Dolph Ziggler made his return to WWE television. First appearance since the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. And we had a beatdown of beatdowns here. Dolph Ziggler brutally attacked Kofi. He wrapped the steel chair around the neck of Kofi Kingston and then slammed Kofi into the table and then stepped on the chair with it wrapped around Kofi's neck, similar to what Steve Austin would do back in the day to various people. And when Austin did that, people were out of action for a while. We had a stretcher come out for Kofi Kingston. You had a fan praying in the front row, that was a great moment right there. I mean, good job on Kevin Dunn or whoever caught that. I mean, that did add to it. Now, here's my problem with this. I thought this was a great beatdown, and I'm thinking to myself, you can have Kofi Kingston out of action for a couple of weeks. They're not going to have him out of action for 6 months. You could keep him off TV till Super Showdown. You can have him in a neck brace in a hospital bed, say, I'm going to be there at the pay-per-view and nothing's going to stop me. I will get cleared. I will be back. And that would make Kofi Kingston look strong. So this is rant time because some people on Twitter disagreed with me on this, and maybe they haven't been watching wrestling for very long. Maybe they just will like anything WWE gives them. But years ago, if something like this happened on television, somebody did not return to television the next day. They didn't return the next week. They would be out of action sometimes 6 to 8 months. Usually this stuff was reserved for injury angles when somebody was hurt. That's right, it's rant time. I'm getting that rage again. That spirit is starting to possess me right now, that undead spirit. Kofi Kingston was taken out on the stretcher, and then he got up. He got up and walked away without any assistance whatsoever. Why? I get it. Kofi Kingston's the WWE champion. You want him to look strong. But guess what? He has looked strong. He's looked really strong over the past several months. But what you need is a strong challenger. Dolph Ziggler did something to Kofi Kingston that in another era would have put a guy out for 6 to 8 months. There's nothing that would have been bad about Kofi Kingston taking the stretcher and being off television until Super Showdown. You could have done an angle where the doctor said, you're not going to make it to Super Showdown. But Kofi could be defiant and says, I don't care. I'm showing up there and I'm going to fight. I'll sign one of those hold harmless agreements that if he gets hurt, WWE will not be sued. They could have done something like that. Kofi Kingston should not have walked away from this. It made the whole Dolph Ziggler beatdown very watered down. It ruined the whole thing for me, quite frankly. And I don't really take Dolph Ziggler as a credible opponent after this because Kofi just got up and walked. That was something brutal that Dolph Ziggler did, and Kofi Kingston just walked away. So how am I supposed to believe that Dolph Ziggler can beat Kofi Kingston? Kofi walked away from that. So what else can he do to him to beat him? You see what I'm saying here? You got to have Dolph Ziggler be a threat to Kofi's championship. So for you guys on Twitter, do you not understand how that works? You need to have a credible challenger who's a threat to the champion so you can be emotionally invested in the match. How can you be emotionally invested when the challenger can't take out the champion and be a threat? Explain that to me. You can't. You can't logically do it. Somebody on Twitter give me a good reason other than they're just trying to make Kofi Kingston look strong. You're not understanding how wrestling works. So that's my rant. I'm sure some people are going to disagree with me. It's inevitable. They've probably only been watching wrestling for like 10 years, but it is what it is. That's my take on it. I think it was a mistake to have Dolph Ziggler not take Kofi Kingston out for the entire show and maybe for at least a couple weeks. I don't think that was too much to ask for, to have Kofi Kingston off television until the pay-per-view. Josh Mansfield with a $2 super chat. He says, Dolph won World Gold before and beat Kofi for the IC title before. Yeah, but who remembers that, Josh? Really? Who remembers that? I mean, it would be a good thing to bring up. It would not hurt. But, yeah, I certainly don't remember any of that stuff. The thing is, Dolph Ziggler has all these start and stop pushes. So you want people to take this one seriously, but then you have Kofi get up. So it's like, yeah, it's going to be the same old thing. Dolph's going to get beat at Super Showdown, and that's going to be it. You know, it's just going to be a short thing. So why should we even care in the first place? You're doing this heavy. It wasn't even a light beatdown. This was a heavy beatdown. And the end result's going to be Kofi Kingston beats him and Dolph Ziggler goes back to obscurity. So what else do you do? Next time somebody does that, nobody's going to take it seriously. I rest my case. Moving on here, we had Roman Reigns arriving to the building over an hour into the show. So apparently Roman Reigns doesn't get fined for being an hour late to the show. I guess when you're a big star like the big dog, you can show up whenever the hell you feel like it. We had Elias singing on top of the trailer and singing about how Reigns is jealous of Elias, yada, yada, yada. Said it's time to take the big dog for a walk. We had a Becky Lynch promo, and she was talking with Bayley. She said she's happy that at least if she's not champion, at least Bayley's champion and not Charlotte. But Becky said after this match, she's coming for Bayley, and Bayley said she would not have it any other way. We had the tag team match, Bayley teaming up with Becky Lynch against Charlotte and the lady, Lacey Evans. Bayley pinned Charlotte. Once again, Charlotte was going for the figure 8 and Bayley rolled up for the victory. So there you go. Bayley beats Charlotte once again. I'm not sure how that builds up Charlotte. And again, why book this match? Like, Charlotte and Bayley are probably feuding, so why not just keep them separate? Have Charlotte beat somebody to earn another championship match. Have Bayley beat some people to establish herself as champion. Why do you have Bayley pin Charlotte again? Like, what does that do for Charlotte? You want to build up Charlotte as a credible challenger. I get it, you know, you do the roll up, but then that makes me wonder why even do the match in the first place. But as Noah says, pointless filler. Pretty much what it was, pointless filler, just to get them in a match on television. So yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of this either. We had Jinder Mahal of all people, try to pin R-Truth backstage to win the 24/7 title. Only title that Jinder Mahal is going to be getting at this stage of the game. Mike B left a $5 super chat here, had a comment here about Dolph Ziggler. He says, Dolph had more TV tonight than EC3 had since he got called up from NXT. Ouch! I think that right now is the savage line of the night. But will that stick to the very end of the night? Time will tell. Good one, Mike B, and thank you for the super chat. We had the B team after Jinder failed again, by the way. So Jinder Mahal cannot even win the 24/7 championship. We had the B team. I was going to say the big team. The big flop team, perhaps. The B team tried to take out R-Truth, but then they were arguing over who would get the pin. And while they were doing that, R-Truth shoved one of them into the other and then managed to escape with the championship. So as of right now, R-Truth is still your WWE European Champion. And then we had the Dolph Ziggler interview, and this pretty much saved the angle from earlier because Dolph Ziggler did such a great job with this promo. This was really well done. Dolph Ziggler said that the fans deserve an honest answer, and he's going to give it to them. I'm a little surprised WWE didn't hold off on this until next week, but then again, at the same time, we got Super Showdown coming up in just over 2 weeks, so they kind of have to rush it at this point. Ziggler said that this whole thing with Kofi Kingston goes way back to when Ali got hurt and Kofi Kingston got the opportunity. It should have been Ziggler's opportunity, according to him. And then Kofi went through all these hoops year after year and then finally achieved success, but it should have been Dolph Ziggler, according to him. He kept saying, it should have been me getting that spot instead of Kofi Kingston. And at this point, like, Dolph was pretty much crying as he was cutting this promo. He's like, he was just so upset about this. He said Kofi Kingston has outperformed every single critic, and they all respect and admire him, and it should be me. And then he said that he's challenging Kofi Kingston to a match at Super Showdown, and all the fans, they will respect him, they will admire him, and they will love him. I love this. I wonder if this was maybe a nod to Jim Carrey and the Bruce Almighty movie. If you guys know that scene at the end and Jim Carrey's like just begging for Jennifer Aniston to love him. I mean, that's what this reminded me of. I think it was like, that must have been his influence for this promo. But it was great. Dolph Ziggler did a great job. I tip my hat, if I was wearing one, to Dolph Ziggler. Great promo here. And it's just sad that he's probably just going to lose, and then that'll be the end of the push. Dolph Ziggler push number 58 will come and go, just like all the other ones. We had Shane McMahon introduce Elias for the main event. Roman Reigns versus Elias. Shane McMahon kept getting involved, distracting Roman Reigns. Shane ended up putting Elias's foot on the rope when Roman Reigns had the match won from a Superman punch. Roman Reigns ran out, attacked Shane McMahon. Elias hit the flying elbow, but Roman Reigns kicked out, of course, because he is Roman Reigns, damn it. He is Super Reigns. Shane got a guitar and was going to use it, but then Roman Reigns managed to overcome that, hit the spear on Elias and pinned Elias. No shock here. I mean, clearly, Elias is the bit player. Elias is the fall guy to set Roman Reigns up for a match with Shane McMahon, because we all know Shane McMahon's the real star, not Elias. Sorry, Virtue. It is what it is, as I like to say. We had Drew McIntyre come out after the match to attack Roman Reigns with the Claymore. So I guess, that's going to be the new threat to Roman Reigns heading into the Super Showdown pay-per-view with the best in the world, Shane McMahon. And a bunch of people in the chat room with the ZZZZZ comment. I shouldn't say a bunch, just Noah and Mr. Anderson. All right, so that was SmackDown, everyone. All right, what did you guys think about the show? I have my letter grade here, and it might not be a popular one, but I'm going B-, which means I actually thought Raw was a better show this week. The Kofi thing really brought it down for me. I was leaning towards a B or maybe even a B+, but the Kofi thing with him getting up kind of ruined that whole thing for me. So I'm going with B-. Ziggler's promo was amazing. But there were some other booking decisions on this show that I had issues with. Power Packers 90 with a $2 super chat says, Shane always stands tall, C-. All right. Josh Mansfield with a B+. Harley with a C+. Mark Matthews with a B+. Noah Foster also with a B- like me. Caitlin with a B. More Faves with a C. The Flute with a B. Mike B with a B+, Matt Helms with a B, Marshall Leonard with a C-, Stanley Big with a B-, Mark Del Rio with a B+. So a lot of Bs. I thought it was overall a good show, but yeah, the Kofi thing, Charlotte getting pinned again. There were a few issues I had with this show that brought it down for me. Hamp Connor with a $2 super chat says, do you think Brock Lesnar will cash in on Kofi and be on Fox? I mean, it's possible, and quite frankly, with the whole deal with the wild card, you could have Brock win the title and just appear on both shows whenever. So yeah, would not shock me if Brock Lesnar beats Kofi Kingston at some point. He may just end up facing Rollins in a title match, get his rematch, even though there are no more automatic rematches. And then he still has Money in the Bank. I mean, that's quite possible. So I think Noah mentioned earlier an interesting idea, and I guess I'll get your guys' input on this and see what you think. So Noah had this theory that maybe Big E and Dolph Ziggler are in cahoots, and that's what happened with Big E. It was him feigning an injury, and he's going to end up turning heel against Kofi and aligning with his old teammate Dolph Ziggler, because keep in mind, it was Dolph Ziggler that brought Big E into WWE. Big E was originally the muscle for Dolph Ziggler. So that would be a nice little twist there if Big E went back with Dolph Ziggler and they reunited. So what do you guys think about that theory? I mean, it would be interesting. I do like the heel turn. I think it's time to break up New Day. I've been saying this for a long time now. Maybe Big E could even say that it was me all along and that he was plotting against Kofi Kingston for years and he was sick and tired of Kofi getting the opportunities instead of him. It could be really interesting. Will it actually happen? That remains to be seen. Dr. Scorpio says that would be interesting. Ma Wrestling says, oh, wow, that's actually a good theory. Dustin says it sounds solid. Demon of Death 19, and I agree with him, says whatever's going on, WWE will mess it up. Yeah, probably. Mr. Anderson says it was me all along, Kofi. And Blue CMU says WWE isn't that creative to do a storyline like that. Michael Wayne says solid. So there you go. I mean, it seems like a lot of people like the idea, but will it actually play out? Or will we see the New Day flipping around pancakes for another 5 years? Wouldn't shock me if it's the pancakes. And JSpin401 says death to pancakes. Anthony says hashtag Brock 2 belts. The Flute says no way WWE think that far out of the box. And Noah Foster, just for the hell of it, says he loves waffles. As do I. Noah, once I'm in Toledo, we gotta have some waffles. You gotta make us some WWE waffles, and we're gonna document that moment. Do a little video with those WWE waffles, and hell, maybe we can crown you the first 24/7 champion for providing some WWE waffles. How about that? All right, guys, I will go ahead and wrap up this edition of the No DQ recap. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the No DQ review. We'll get more of our thoughts on everything that happened this week. And this weekend, Saturday night, I will be back with a live recap of AEW Double or Nothing. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. I will be doing play-by-play results coverage this weekend, doing the live video, and we'll see what AEW can do. We'll see if they can hit a home run with their first big show. AEW coverage this weekend on NoDQ.com. Buy a shirt, NoDQ.com/shirts. That's all I got.